Another wonderful lighting production. So today I have become overly frustrated with the notion that rich people create jobs. I'm so sick of hearing this. It is absolutely absurd, and it's a fallacy. It is an absolute fallacy. And I'm here to explain why. You see. Let me give you an example of something. Let me try to think of some fake stuff. Actually, I'll just use a real entity, just not my own. Vandergriff Honda is located in Arlington, Texas. It's a real dealership. It's a real Honda dealership that actually exists in real life. You see, the reason that dealership is capable of continuing its existence is because of the demand for that dealership. If there was no demand for Hondas in Arlington at this specific dealership, if this dealership were to lose its consumer base, or if it were to drastically decrease, then what would happen? The company would sell, or there would no longer be a Honda dealership there. So either those jobs in that specific dealership would either just be traded off to another management, let's say like Luke Riley would buy it or something like that, or the jobs would be lost because there would be no more demand. You see, the only money that a company can spend is the amount of money, or actually the profit that it receives from its income. If you don't have an income, or if you don't have that much profit, then you don't have fucking jobs. You don't have a company. You don't have success. For those of you that watch these videos that know paintball a little bit, what happened to Angel Paintball Sports? Let's see. They were a very popular company, probably the most popular and most profitable company in paintball, probably back around 2004, so this is only about 7 years ago. Until, from then to now, their products got a little bit worse. They started losing customers to other companies like Planet Eclipse and Dye. And then what happened? Not even 2 months ago did they go out of business. And they went out of business, why? Not because they had rich people at the top still, because they lost the demand. Because there was no longer a demand for Angel paintball guns nor its equipment. You can always have rich people, but they're not going to create jobs. And what do most big companies do? Like AT&T, like Verizon, like Nike. What do? They outsource jobs to other companies. Okay, I have AT&T, so I know this for an absolute fact. If you were to call that 1-800-AT&T customer service, there's a damn good chance that you're going to get somebody in India. Why is that? That's not because AT&T is creating jobs here, ladies and gentlemen. That's because jobs are being created overseas to reduce labor costs. Because what is the ultimate goal? I mean, you have managers that figure this shit out, and there's owners on top of them. What do? If you've ever known your owner, they're trying to maximize profit. That's the whole point of being a business, is to maximize your profit. Because that's what you want. You don't care what you have to do. If you have to get machinery that costs $17,000, $20,000 that ends up saving you money in the long run, that's what it's about. It's about saving money. So if you can cut labor costs, right? If you can cut hours here or there, or if you can start someone new that can do the same job as a veteran that got fired, you're not going to pay them as much money. You're just going to start them out at an entry wage, and you're probably going to give them some shitty raise on top of that. So rich people don't create jobs. Just like it's an absolute fallacy that the government can all of a sudden create jobs. You can't just fucking create jobs if you don't have a demand. Like I'm sure Apple hired on a lot of people recently, overseas, or here. I know they're building their college. But for example, why is that? Because there's a high demand for Apple products. I personally don't care for them, but there is a demand for them, and thus you get jobs. Because let's think of another workplace. Okay, let's take my job, for instance. Right? We lost 2 technicians and didn't hire anymore. Why? Because we didn't need to. We started to slow down in business, therefore we didn't need to hire anybody else. There are still rich people involved with the company that I work for, but they aren't creating jobs because there isn't work for the jobs. You can't just hire people. You can't just make jobs. It doesn't work like that. If you don't have the consumer base, if you don't have the income, whatever it is, if you don't have it coming in, it's not going to be going out to employment wages. It's just not going to, because it doesn't exist. Now there is a small percentage of where you take into consideration like sponsors, private contractors such as like your radio stations, or military private contractors, and so on and so forth, and those do receive finances from other places. But for the majority of it, for the majority of the shit that we're talking about, if you don't have the income, if you don't have the demand, then you're not going to succeed, and you're not going to have the money to spend on jobs. So you can't just fucking create jobs. You can't do it. It doesn't work like that. You know, I can't go open a fucking lemonade stand and hire 15 people to work it, because I'm going to be broke. I'm going to be in the negative every single day. I'm going to be losing money, just losing money out my ass. However, if I open up a lemonade stand and it becomes more permanent and I turn it into a store and whatnot, I'm getting all kinds of customers. I don't know who would want that much fucking lemonade, but if it happened, then I could hire more people. So it's the demand that creates the fucking jobs. Rich people don't create jobs. And by the way, just for your amusement, the most absurd thing I've heard about this is that rich people create jobs because they live in big houses and you need people to build those houses. That's fucking stupid. That is absolutely just fucking ridiculous. Because I think you would create more jobs building apartment complexes all over the place instead of building one fucking mansion for one fucking family. And for those who don't know, the rich generally don't spend that much money. I mean, they just don't. Sure, they're out buying a Lamborghini, they may be buying miles on their private jet, but people like you and I are what can keep the economy stable by spending money. By buying products like cars and cell phones and all the other general shit that we use, like Starbucks and McDonald's and all that bullshit. Spending money there. The middle class, or any class, spending money in your average economy is what's going to keep it stable. Allowing the rich to have more money does not create jobs, and it does not create economic stability, because that money is not being recirculated in through the system. It's not happening. And I'm not even an expert on this. I mean, I'm not. I know next to nothing about this, but this is just fucking sheer logic here. A little bit of bias reinforcement that I've learned, but it makes sense. If you don't have the demand, you're not going to be successful, right? You can try to sell shit all day long. No one's buying it. You ain't going to fucking keep doing it, are you? But if people are buying the shit out of whatever it is, you're going to buy more. You're going to grow as an entity. And on another note, speaking of entities, corporations do not deserve individual rights. Are you fucking kidding me? So let's say I have a dispute with Nike and we go to court. It's going to be me and my pitiful ass attorney versus Nike, a goddamn global corporation with some amazing ass attorney that are just going to completely obliviate my ass regardless of how right I could be. Corporations are not individuals. They are not people. They are not persons. They don't have fucking social security numbers, and they don't deserve rights as the individual does. I'm sorry. So corporations are not people, and rich people do not create jobs. And yes, it's complete and utter bullshit that not only Obama, but the Republican side of the debate as well, are also talking about creating jobs. You just can't fucking do it. And if you want to go to Google, you can search it up yourself. There are plenty of major corporations like Nokia cutting thousands of jobs because you're losing out to technology and you're losing out to outsourcing. It's just a fucking fact, ladies and gentlemen. It just is.